Welcome back once again. In this video, I will talk about the mathematics and the most important chapter, probability of 12th class. So from this video, I am going to start a new lecture series in which I will cover the whole probability of 12th class in few of lectures, and this is going to be the very first lecture of that particular series. So let us take a simple or comprehensive look on the probability. Whenever you come across this type of chapter like probability, you should bear some basic concepts behind the probability, as one thing is also expected from the students if you are approaching towards the probability. First of all, you have probably studied about the probability in your 9th class, and after that in your 10th class as well as 11th class. So there are the lot of vocabulary of probability, in which there are a lot of words what you should know about them. In the simple word, you should know the actual meaning of the vocabulary which is used to demonstrate, which is used to understand a basic idea of the probability. So you are supposed to have a basic knowledge of that particular kinds of words. Like if I talk about the basic words of the probability, then you should have some idea about outcome or elementary events, compound events, and exclusive events, mutually exclusive, complementary, exhaustive, such kind of vocabulary of the probability. So let us take a list of such kinds of words what you should know in your mind to read, to study about the probability. So first of all, if you let us talk about the list of the words which will be used to demonstrate the probability as a basic scenario. So in this video, I am going to discuss the probability. And in this video, I will be prone towards the 12th probability, which is the basic concepts of the conditional probability and independent events probability as well. So let us take a word vocabulary of probability. You are expected to have some knowledge about event or random experiment. Also its outcome. Next word will should be sample space, events as well, which can be either of two types. One type may be simple event or elementary event, and the event may have another type is complementary or compound event. Also, event can be categorized according to the some basic common features of the events as mutually exclusive events or exhaustive event. Also, you should have a basic idea about occurrence of event. And of course of their probability. Right? So these are the few of words out of the vocabulary of the probability, what you should have a basic idea when you study about the probability. So I can think right away a very simple experiment which can be helpful to understand all these topics what I have marked on this board. So let us take a first look about random experiment. Usually in everyday life, whenever you see something happening, like let's say there is a race of horses which is organized somewhere, and you are a participant in that particular race, or you should be a viewer of that particular race, then it is sure that there may be a lot of horses. Surely there will be more than one horse, and they will be racing when they will be supposed to race. Okay, and it is also sure here that out of all the horses, only few of horses will be win, or it may be possible that one out of those horses will be win. So this kind of experiment can be taken as random experiment. How? Let us take the basic features about an experiment to be random. So an experiment is simply called random experiment if it obeys, let us say, the two conditions. Okay. So first condition, what an experiment should obey, the outcome should be more than one. Just remember this thing. I have written more than one outcome should be there. And next, we do not have some idea which one horse can be win. This is also a basic feature of an experiment to be random. So I can write it as the result is not already predicted. So this is the another criteria for an event to be a random experiment or an experiment to be random experiment. So as I have told you, one experiment, the racing of horses or race of horses. So and surely one or two horses can be win in that particular race if it is made so. So this complete experiment obeys this first criteria, because the first criteria is outcome should be more than one, and here more than one horses can be win, and they can be first, second or third according to their price distribution. So first criteria is followed here, and another is we do not have any idea which one horse out of all the horses can be win. So the another criteria is also passed here. Here result is not already predicted. We do not have any idea or any prediction about the winner horse. So this can be taken as a random experiment. If you are supposing that this is some tough experiment to understand a random experiment, then you can take another experiment of like if you toss a coin, then the outcome will be there, and such kind of experiment can also be set as random experiment. Why? First, when we toss a coin, this is sure that more than one outcome may be there. Another kind of experiment which can be random experiment. If I talk about the tossing of a coin, which is given in various amount in the books, that the tossing of coin, because it is regarded as a very simplest experiment to be understood as random experiment. So this is sure that more than one outcome are there, because the outcome can be head or it can be tail. Okay, so here the first criteria of an experiment to be random is followed, because here more than one outcomes are there which can be come. Okay, and another criteria which is followed here is that we do not have any idea that head will come or tail will come, because at one time one outcome will be there, not two outcomes simultaneously will be there. And here we do not have any prediction that what kind of its gamete can become. So this kind of experiment can be taken as random experiment. Also, there are a lot of experiments which can be taken as random experiment, and generally in everyday life all the experiment generally are categorized as random experiment, like throwing of die and pick up any card from a desk of the cards, and if you mixed well a number of papers in which some numbers are printed and you pick up one out of those papers, then that can be also a random experiment, because we do not have any idea of the prediction that this can be come as an outcome. Okay, we do not have any already idea. So such kind of experiment are known as random experiment, and the result which can become is simply known as outcome. If I talk about sample spaces, then this is very simple word here. What you have to do, you have to collect all the possible outcomes and write that. If I talk about the experiment tossing of a coin, then it is sure that head and tail can come. If I take both the outcomes together, then I get the sample space. Conventionally, the sample space is written in the curly bracket or square bracket. Okay, so this is about the sample spaces. If I talk about the throw of die, then there may be a 6 outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 as well. So in that particular situations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, they will comprise as sample space. Okay, so this is nothing but the collection of all possible outcomes is simply known as the sample space. If I talk about event, then random experiment outcome is simply known as event. If anything happens, it is a kind of event because that is happening at a particular time. Okay, so event is nothing but which is happening, that is called an event. Now we can categorize event into two basic category. One can be simple or elementary, other can be compound event. So the distinction between these two events can be easily understood by the experiment. One is tossing of a coin and there is throwing of a die. Okay, so here as you can see, if I toss a coin, then outcome will be 1. It may be head or tail. In that particular situation, one outcome will be there and we are sure that it is head or tail. Okay, so such kind of event which can become a simple, known as simple or elementary event, because elementary means one outcome will be there. Okay, if I talk about compound event, then I can take example of throwing of a die. If I say the outcome is a even number, okay, I am repeating, if I say outcome is a even number, then we are not sure which one even number out of 2, 4, 6 will be there. So here more than one outcome will be there and that will be categorized as a compound event, because here more than one results can be possible as an outcome. So this is done. Now if I talk about mutually exclusive event and exhaustive event, then simply again we can take example of throwing of a die here. Now if I say that outcome is an even number, and if I say another thing that outcome is a number lesser than 4, then here two events are concerning, in which one event concerns about outcome is a even number. So even number may be 2, 4 or 6. Okay, and another event if we consider, as far as this event is concerned, outcome is a number lesser than 4. So here one number out of all these numbers, only one number is lesser than 4, and which is 2. So now you can see here easily outcome is even number. I have talked about this one, and outcome is a number lesser than 4. So the number which is lesser than 4 is already is one of out of these 3, and this is 2, which relates to already with the first experiment. So it's mean that both the events are actually related to each other, and they have some mutually in common. So such kind of event is simply known as mutually exclusive event. Okay. Now if I talk about exhaustive event, so exhaustive event is just opposite to the mutually exclusive event. And what about the opposite event of mutually exclusive event? Now if I talk about, let this event is same, and the next event is outcome is a number which is greater than 4. If I take about here greater than 6, let's say, greater than no, if I take another example of event, outcome is an odd number. So as far as the first event is concerned, it says outcome is an even number. So I am talking about this sample space. As far as the another event is concerned, this is outcome is an odd number. So what are the odd numbers in the sample space of the throwing of a die? The odd numbers are 1, 3 and 5. And let's say this is event A and this is event B. So this is for A, this is for B. Now you can easily see here there is no relation of this one and that one. Here even numbers are concerned and here odd numbers are concerned, and both the are disjoints in nature. In the Venn diagram, if I talk about the set A or event A, I can put it as this one. Let's say this one is a universal set, which is nothing but the sample space of the experiment. And this is about A. And A has 2, 4 and 6. Somewhere has 2, somewhere has 4 and somewhere has 6. And you can see here there is no common in both the experiments, in both the event. So I should have another set which should not have in common anything with this one, and this should have 1, 3 and 5. So now you can see here there is no intersection or joinness between both the sets. So such kind of sets or such kind of events which are represented according to these two sets are simply known as exhaustive events, because there is no in common. Generally we say A intersection B equals 0, because there is no in common, 0 is common. Or generally this is denoted by 5, a null set, a void set. Okay. Now if I talk about occurrence of events, so whatever I have considered up till now, this is the occurrence of event. If I am interested what should be the percentage of this event to occur, so I am concerning about the occurrence of that particular events. Okay. If you are interested to find some percentage of happening of a thing, then you are simply concerning about the occurrence of that particular events, and we will expect it to have some kind of probability, some kind of percentage, some kind of a possibility of that particular event to occur. So that's some kind of phenomena or that particular procedure is simply known as occurrence of events. Now probability is nothing but the percentage or just a simple basic idea of occurrence of events, that how much possible this event to occur or how much possible this event in the nature. So this is a basic idea about the probability. Now let's talk about the main topic of the probability, which is the conditional probability. Okay. So I am talking about conditional probability. As you know very well, you should have some basic idea of set theory as well as the combination what you have studied in your 11th class, okay, to have a basic idea of the probability, mainly the conditional probability. Also we will discuss in this lecture about independent event probability. How this kind of probabilities differ than the probability what you have studied in your 11th class. So let us take a basic idea about that, okay. In your 11th or 10th or 9th class, you have asked some kind of questions in which only one thing is concerned. Let me give some example. If I take a simple example of a tossing of a coin, then the questions related to the tossing of coin can be, a coin is tossed and you have to find the probability that what is the probability to that the outcome is head. This is the basic idea. Then simply what you have to do, you have to divide the favorable events to the let's say H and T are sample space here, and you know very well these are the two sample spaces. So number of sample spaces are 2, and we have asked about the probability. Let's say that event is A, what we have asked, and the probability to get outcome as head. So how many head as there are there? One head is there. And what are the total favorable total events? These are the 2, because that can be head or tail. So this is the basic idea about the probability what you have very first studied in your 9th and then 10th and then 11th class. Also I can think right away another example of simple probability from the 11th class. If I talk about the tossing of a die, throwing of a die, and again you have asked some let's say you are asked what is the probability that a number that the outcome is a number greater than, let's say, 4. So whenever we throw a die, the outcomes are 6. So number of sample space are 6. And what is the question what we have asked? That is a number that should be greater than 4. So number greater than 4 are, what are the numbers? Let's say that event is A, and the numbers what are greater than 4 are 5 and 6. So these are the favorable events. Out of these 6 events, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 in a throwing of die. So the question is asking about the number greater than 4. So 5 and 6 are the numbers of this random experiment which are greater than 4. So here this is the event and the probability of this event to occur is asked. So what we say, what we do simple, the number of total sample spaces which are 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the numerator we write the number of favorable events to that particular event. So the particular events, the number of favorable events are 5 and 6 what are taken. So these are the two numbers. So the probability of that particular event is 2 by 6, or mathematically this is 1 by 3. So this is what you have done up till in your 11th class. Now in the conditional probability, so as far as the conditional probability is concerned, you will have given some particular condition which has happened already, and after that on the basis of that particular phenomena you will supposed to have some idea of the probability to occur another event. So let us take another example of again an example of a throw of die. And now we have the two events, let's say two events which are associated with this particular event, throwing of die. So now one event is, let's say one event is the outcome is an odd number. Okay, and now you have asked to find the probability that the outcome is a prime number, and it is given to you outcome is an odd number. It is given to you already, and then asked what is the probability that outcome is a prime number. So another event is outcome is a prime number. Now you can see here this particular event which is given to us is already happened, and on the basis of this event is generated after this event, and now we have to find the probability of the occurrence of this event. Okay, now what we will do, okay, let me take the mathematical interpretation of this particular kind of question.